questions, you say? Why, yes, I've got 21 of them for you if you've got 12 minutes or so to spend with me. My name's Mike. I run a trivia company. It's called Trivia Tribe. Let's do some trivia together. Question 1. What is the only organ in the human body that begins with the letter K? They're your kidneys. Look after those. Question 2. Was the inventor of basketball American, Canadian, or Australian? The inventor of basketball was a guy called James Naismith, and he was Canadian. That will shock a few people. I think a lot of people just naturally assumed it's an American game. And it kind of is, but it was invented by a Canadian man. Question 3. Which bird has more toes on each foot, an emu or an ostrich? An emu does. An emu has 3 toes on each foot, but an ostrich only has 2, which means it could get a pedicure very, very quickly. Question 4. True or false? 1970s pin-up girl and actor Farrah Fawcett died on the same day that Michael Jackson died. What a cheery topic for a trivia question, but that's actually true. They both died on June 25, 2009. Question 5, we're talking French words. Which 4-letter word beginning with C, and as I say, it's from the French, means is the sudden overthrow of a government, often through illegal means? And by that I mean the sudden overthrow of a government, often through illegal means, and that is a... It's a coup. It's pronounced coup, C-O-U-P. There's a P in there that no one talks about, but it's there. Question 6, it's a famous quote question, but with a little bit of a twist. Are these the words of William Shakespeare or Taylor Swift? And the quote is, past the curses and cries, beyond the terror in the nightfall. I know I said it in a kind of a Shakespearean way, but it's actually a Taylor Swift quote from her song Happiness from her 2020 album Evermore, and I knew that immediately. I'm just such a huge Taylor Swift fan. Is my nose growing? I feel like my nose might be growing. Question 7, and we're speaking now about the British singer Engelbert Humperdinck. You all know Engelbert's work, do you? Is Engelbert Humperdinck his real name or a stage name? I know what you're thinking, who would choose to call themselves Engelbert Humperdinck? I'll tell you who, Arnold George Dorsey would. Arnold George Dorsey, he was a singer. He said, I'm going to change my name and I shall choose something that I will have to spell every single time I say my name. Imagine, just at the coffee shop, latte for Engelbert, whereas it could have been latte for Arnold. But no, he chose to call himself Engelbert Humperdinck. It's a stage name. Crazy. After question 7, we do the first clues for the Who Am I for the episode. Today, it's a person. Here we go. Who am I? I was born in California in 1974, and my middle name is Willem. I began acting as a child. I appeared in television commercials and series, and I gained early critical acclaim in the 1990s, including an Academy Award nomination before I was even 20 years old for my role in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Now, you might know it from that. I don't. Well, I do because I wrote the question, but I wouldn't if I hadn't have. If you follow where I've drifted. Question 8. Would you find paracetamol in Panadol, Valium, or Viagra? That'd be Panadol. The active ingredient in Panadol is paracetamol. Question 9. Which band had hits way back in 1982 with the songs Africa and Rosanna? That'd be Toto. Good songs too. All I want to do when I wake up in the morning is to see your eyes. Rosanna, Rosanna. Shouldn't sing on this podcast, but I can't help myself. Question 10. Which US TV drama starred Anna Paquin as Sookie Stackhouse, who falls in love with the vampire named Bill Compton? That's True Blood. True Blood was a huge show, and it was really good. I watched it for a while. It was really good until it wasn't. It just got silly as a show about a telepathic waitress falling in love with a vampire can get. It's already pretty silly, right? Got worse, trust me. Question 11, true or false, a female redback spider can produce eggs for up to 2 years after a single mating. That's true. I know a lot of people that would consider that a very effective use of time. Question 12. What starting with M is a word for a bacterium. The word itself is derived from the Greek for little life. It starts with M. That's a microbe. A microbe. Question 13. Vegetables. What is the last vegetable listed in the dictionary? So the last vegetable when you list them all alphabetically. That's the zucchini. Zucchini. Z also has the Zea maize, which is like a corn and maize type deal, and Y for yam, but the last one is zucchini. Question 14, we're still talking food. Which H is a Middle Eastern dish made from pureed chickpeas, tahini, garlic, and lemon? That's hummus. Hummus. More clues now for the Who Am I? It's the same guy as before, the What's Eating Gilbert Grape guy. I became a major international star after appearing in a movie version of one of Shakespeare's most famous plays before I starred opposite Kate Winslet in a blockbuster in which my character suffered an early death. Outside of acting, I've been heavily involved in environmental activism and climate change awareness, and I'm known for preferring to date women considerably younger than I am. I'm pretty sure you know who that might be. But if you don't worry, more clues coming up after question 20. Question 15. Is 60 feet closest to 8, 18, or 28 metres? Well, there's roughly 3 feet to a metre, so 60 feet, that's going to be 18. 18 is the answer there. Good. Question 16, colours. What colour is celadon, spelt with a C, C-E-L-A-D-O-N? What colour is celadon most similar to? Is it green? Is it purple? Is it brown? Celadon is a shade of green. Question 17, we're talking Isaac Asimov. Now, is Isaac Asimov associated with the 3 laws of robotics or the 3 laws of physics? Isaac Asimov, the 3 laws of robotics, he wrote them in 1942 before really robots were a thing, and it's pretty interesting. The first law is basically a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. Second law, a robot must obey orders given by humans, except where such orders conflict with the first law. And the third one, a robot must protect its own existence as long as that protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Now, that all kind of ties itself together, but over a period of time, Isaac Asimov realized the laws don't go far enough, so he wrote another one that was meant to supersede all the others, and it was called the zeroth law, like the word zero, and with a TH on the end, the zeroth law. And that went, a robot may not harm humanity or by inaction allow humanity to come to harm. So all the people that think AI is going to take over the world and the robots are going to enslave us, if they follow Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, they won't do that. We shall see. Question 18. What kind of creatures are chimera's? That's spelled C-H-I-M-A-E-R-A-S. Are they fish or are they cats? Chimera's are fish. Good. Question 19 is always an alive or dead on this podcast. I give you a name. You tell me if you think that person is alive or dead. This episode, alive or dead, former US President George H.W. Bush. Now that's George Bush Sr., the older of the Bushes. Both were presidents, of course. George Bush Sr. he's dead. He died in 2018. Question 20, music question to bring us home. Who had hits with Dirty Boulevard and Walk on the Wild Side? That's Lou Reed. Lou Reed, of course, came to fame with the band Velvet Underground, Dirty Boulevard, Walk on the Wild Side, and The Colored Girls Go. That guy. Dirty Boulevard is one of my favourite songs of all time. Final clues on the Who Am I now. Here we go. Despite my fame, I spent many years chasing more serious roles in pursuit of an Academy Award, which I eventually won for 2015's The Revenant. I've since starred in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt, and last year I starred in One Battle After Another. My mother named me after a famous Italian artist and polymath. I am, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, that is the 21 questions I promised you, but I've got a bonus 22nd question for you in the form of a player question. I'm inviting my listeners to send me a trivia question via my Facebook page called 21 Questions. Send me a message with the trivia question. I'd like you to include the answer if you can. Doesn't matter if you don't. I will check it either way because some of you would just like to hear me say completely the wrong answer and sit there giggling to yourself going, I got him, I made him say the wrong answer, as you cackle to yourself like some kind of a pantomime villain. I don't think Sid from Bribey Island did that. I know he didn't because I've double-checked his answer. But last episode, Sid from Bribey Island, and good on Sid for taking the time to send me a message, given that Bribey Island is one of the most beautiful spots in Queensland and he could be out walking on the beach. But instead, he sent me a trivia question. Sid asked, in the world of Lego, what does the acronym SNOT, S-N-O-T, stand for? And the answer is studs not on top. SNOT. Studs not on top is an advanced Lego building technique where bricks are oriented sideways, upside down, or at angles rather than stacked traditionally. This method allows builders to create smooth, stud-free surfaces, intricate curves, and multi-directional structures. That's from the Lego website. Thank you, Sid. That's a very unusual question. I've learned something. I love it. This episode's player question comes from Joella from Ohio in the USA, and I was so excited to get this trivia question from Joella and her mum because it's my first international trivia question, or my first question suggested by an international player. Very exciting. Thank you, Joella, and hello to your mum. You didn't tell me her name, but Joella and her mum are listening from Ohio. Amazon's Alexa randomly played this podcast, so thank you, Amazon. Thank you, Alexa. Awesome. The question that Joella has sent me is, exactly how long is 1 year? Now, that's kind of interesting because the obvious thought is, well, 365 days to a year, but then we have that leap year, don't we? So it's got to be 365 days plus a little bit. How much is the little bit? Joella has told me. I will tell you in the next episode. Thank you, Joella. Thank you, Sid. If you would like to be like Joella and Sid, and who wouldn't, send me a trivia question via the 21 Questions page on Facebook, and I will include your question in a future episode. Okay, that wraps up another episode of 21 Questions. Thank you very much for your company. This podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I hope you will join me for 12 or 14 minutes of trivia fun. My name is Mike. I'll catch you next time. Bye.